This week, the nerds answer some excellent questions on the Nerds Who Get Laid Sometimes mailbag. They let you know what's going on in their nerdy world with their nerd-ons, and they discuss Henry Cavill's new role in The Witcher. They also get to talk a little bit about the official first look of Captain Marvel and Zombieland 2 coming soon. All of that and so much more on this episode of Nerds Who Get Laid Sometimes.
Nerds who get laid.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Nerds Who Get Laid Sometimes. Here I'm your host tonight, Mike.
And we sound so much better then.
I know, right?
Yeah, something's on tonight.
It's like magical. There's magic in the air.
It's like a fifth voice isn't throwing off our whole rhythm.
It's just all flat and gross
like
and nasty.
Phil Collins. I can feel it.
Yeah,
thanks for bringing it down by saying Phil Collins.
No.
God damn it, Chuck.
Is he dead?
No, I can feel
or
it.
just in general, Phil Collins sucks.
In the air tonight.
In general,
it's like
Phil Collins
it's a nice mood going on right now, man. Don't be a buzzkill.
You're the one that invoked Phil Collins talking about buzzkills.
No.
Let's pot calm the kettle black.
No.
Okay, well, he's ruined our intro. How's everyone's week been?
Well, until just a few minutes ago, it's pretty damn good.
Amazing since I mentioned Phil Collins.
I've actually had a pretty shitty week, honestly.
He said weekend.
Did he say weekend?
Weekend.
No, I said
weekend
week.
was also
I
pretty
actually
shitty
said
too.
week, but I don't know if you guys know this, but a weekend is not independent and it's still part of a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think a little good with a lot of bad, Ray.
Yeah, my dad, I was getting a haircut this Friday after work, which was the first day from work that I think I actually got off at 5 o'clock when I'm supposed to get off. And I got a text from my mom from my dad's cell phone saying to call me. Your dad has had a heart attack. And so I give her a call, and sure enough, they are taking him to the hospital where he lives in Live Oak, and they're about to life flight him out to Gainesville to the Heart Center or whatever at North Florida. So I jump in the truck, head home, pick up Allison, and go pick up my mom, and we book it over to Gainesville. And by the time we get there, they've already done whatever procedure they had to do for my dad, put in a stent and stuff, and he's fine now. But it was pretty scary.
Yeah, it's always scary.
And on the way back, we came back home. We dropped my mom off. She stayed there. We stayed there for a pretty good amount of time. And when we got back home, we were grabbing my mom's car because she met us in Lake City. And when we pulled into the place where her car was parked, Allison was like, "Our Jeep is smoking," and I popped the hood and then heard something pouring out of it, and there was just coolant pouring out of the Jeep.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I proceeded to drive home, and I'm like, the temperature on the Jeep's staying fine. And then I got most of the way home, and probably about another mile and a half, and everything started to overheating. And I'm so I just turned it off and coasted the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. Got it in, and one of my buddies from across the street came over and looked at it. He's a car guy, Mike, that I work with. He came over, and he's like, "Oh well, it was 1 o'clock in the morning by this point." He's like, "I'll come over and take a look at it if you want me to." I'm like, if you're up to it, it's 1 in the morning. He came over and we drove it down the road to get it to warm up, and he's like, "Yeah, I think your water pump went out." So I gotta get that taken care of. So that was a pretty rough day. But and then this week's been crazy at work. So we did a takeover of a new bank last week, and that was nuts. Yeah, it was. And this week has been crazy as well. Yeah, a lot of sword fighting, and not the fun type. So.
No, it's the whose sword's bigger.
Yeah.
So that's. I'm pretty confident. I speak for our podcast mates and listeners, but we're happy to hear your dad's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing real good. We went back down there to take my mom's car tour today, and he watched the Florida State game yesterday. He seems he seems to be doing good. They're going to watch him a few more days and send him home. But the doctor, immediately when we got there, like I said, they were already done with the procedure and getting him in his room. And the doctor was like, yeah, he's for this kind of heart attack, he's young. We're hopeful. I'm really positive about everything. I don't think he's going to have any more problems, and he hasn't. So we feel pretty good about it
a little bit.
Yeah, and he's diabetic, which adds to all of this kind of stuff. So he's already had to change his diet up a lot, and he's lost I'm proud of him. He's lost a shitload of weight in the last like 5 or 6 years. So probably some more changes coming for him, diet wise and lifestyle
Gotta do the
wise.
Kevin Smith diet.
Yeah. Well, and I was he works at a prison over here in North Florida, and I saw on Facebook on Friday that there was a riot. Quote, someone put on one of the groups that were in. There was a riot at Hamilton Correction, and I was like, shit. So I like text my mom. I'm like, have you heard from Dad? And she's like, no, he's at home. I'm like, oh, thank God. So he was actually off that day. So I was glad because I was like, oh, didn't get involved in a riot. Good job, Dad. No, because he had decided he's going to be retiring in a couple of weeks. Because
shit!
Yeah,
2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. He was supposed to be done on the 30th, but I guess he moved it to the 15th, and he was going to use some of his leave that he still had that he was going to lose. Yeah, because they wouldn't give him all the leave that he wanted to use. That he wanted to use like 2 weeks, and they're like, nah. So they were going to give him 1 week, but now he gets to use all of it. So he got them.
Too old for this shit. That's a smart move. Have a heart attack to get out of, to essentially retire yourself 3 weeks early.
Yeah,
fuck you, Department of Corrections.
That's dedication.
Yeah. So my dad's retired now. So
congrats.
well, I don't know what he'll be doing with his time now, but it was funny because they were explaining that all day he had been working on the lawnmower, trying to change the blades to it. Oh. And I know how I get when I try to fix things. I'm bad at fixing things, but I cuss a lot, and I get just so fucking mad because I'm like, fuck, I can't do this. Why don't I know how to fix things? All my friends can fix things. Motherfucker. But my dad can fix things and still gets like that kind of angry. I think kicking shit around. Yeah. I think it's just normal. Like if you're trying to fix
normal
something.
Man things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was doing that all day. And when my mom told me he was like working on the lawnmower, I have vivid memories from being a child and being scared for my life while my dad was fixing a lawnmower. So I was like, oh well, that makes sense.
There's a meme.
The riot might have been less stressful for him.
Yeah. There's a meme going around where shows a kid holding a flashlight while his dad's fixing a car.
Oh shit! Yeah.
And it said, what it say? Something to the effect of learning how to fix a car with Dad involved me holding a flashlight and getting yelled at.
Yes, yes, absolutely,
but
man.
I do know the proper way to hold a flashlight for somebody now, to where
I honestly don't think I ever learned it.
No.
Holding a flashlight, to be perfectly honest, is one of the most stressful situations.
Yeah, it's like I can't see. Can you move the flashlight a little bit? No, not that way.
Yeah, let me do it. I've moved it all the ways. Where can I move it to?
What's a master cylinder?
Way. Never mind.
Yeah. It's just it's. I don't know. It's like right below speaking in public, I guess.
Holding a flashlight.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Or a flashlight.
That's
either one.
No, that's easier. That is incredibly stress relieving, actually. So I mean, how about we get to our nerd on? How about that, man?
Get your nerd on. 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 Get your nerd on.
This is our weekly segment where we talk about the things that we've been nerding out on this week. In our constant need to switch things up, we're going to do counterclockwise today.
Whoa!
From me, and we're going to start with Ray.
Oh, wow.
Ray,
that mixes things up quite a bit.
It really does. It really does. Yeah. So I have Iron Fist dropped on Friday.
Yeah.
We had some early release, so I've been watching over this for the last couple of weeks and all. I've seen the first 6 episodes.
But you had to be mum about it.
I had to be mum about it. They They put
important podcast business, nerdcast
important
business.
podcast, nerdcast
Excuse me.
business. Yeah. So we're given early access to some of these things. There's another couple of things that we've been given access to that we're not allowed to talk to you about. We were allowed on, I think, Wednesday, but we don't podcast on Wednesday. We podcast on Sunday. So
I think Uncle Ben said it best, man. With great power,
yes, comes great responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've already watched the first 6 episodes of Iron Fist. I think there's 10 in all. So I'll try to finish the rest of those up this week. I'll probably watch one tonight. But it's way, way better. I liked the first season of Iron Fist. I didn't think it was as good as the rest of the Netflix Marvel
series.
You had your gripes with it, but overall, you liked it.
Danny Rand was annoying. He was always telling you that he was the enemy of the Hand, the protector of Kunlun, and all that kind of stuff. And he was kind of whiny and stuff.
Yeah.
But
If I were those things, I would say that shit constantly too. That sounds badass.
Yeah, I'm the protector of Kunlun, the enemy of the Hand.
Yeah, I mean, he's also lost from his culture from the age of 10, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So his social skills are a little lacking. So I can kind of give him a little slack.
Rand.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm an enemy of the Hand.
But
I don't always speak in rhyme.
Champion
unless
of
it's
Hung
good
Lao.
time.
And friendship for everyone.
I was really hopeful when I saw there was the episode of Luke Cage with him in it, which was awesome. He felt like Iron Fist in that to me. That he was he had a little bit of a jokiness to him. He wasn't super serious all the time, which was one of my
serious though.
He was, but he was very zen.
He was very balanced out.
Yeah. Which is a very Danny Rand way to be, a very Iron Fist way to be. So coming into it, I've liked all of the shows. Even the weaker ones are still good to me. But this one, I feel like they fixed a lot of the things that people griped about. The fight scenes are better. And I believe I read somewhere that the choreography in the original Iron Fist, it was done a lot slower, and they didn't have as many cutscenes as they do in like Daredevil. Daredevil is like, he's a boxer, he's a brawler, and he does the ninja shit too.
Yeah.
But this was all about kung fu, and so like they didn't shoot things as fast.
And
it just didn't translate as well for everyone. Is what I was led to understand from what I was reading.
So what they were saying was because there weren't a lot of jump cuts and stuff that are normally in like modern shows and fights that kind of make it energetic, I guess.
Yeah.
It was more of an open, wide shot, like choreographed kung fu fight.
Yeah. And people hated it.
Well, I mean, it's hard. Look at The Matrix. I mean, when it switched to kung fu like completely, they a lot of people had a problem with how they executed that, and I think that just sometimes that's interesting, sometimes kung fu is not.
Yeah.
So since you've seen it, and coming from that point of view, how do you feel they've changed that up?
It seems like they were experimenting with this kind of new idea of things, because
during the second season,
during the first season,
because
each one of the seasons sort of has its like not like a subgenre that they try to fit it to.
The Iron Fist are all the Marvel shows.
All the Marvel shows, because Jessica Jones is kind of a noir type
hard-boiled
thing. Yeah,
detective.
hard-boiled detective.
Luke Cage is the blaxploitation.
Well,
to an extent, it is.
And Daredevil, I don't know what was Daredevil was. I don't know,
season 1 or
I guess any of them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think season 1's kind of like that.
That's kind of like a hard-boiled detective show as well.
Yeah. Like a more kind of like a mob. More of a mob type show.
Okay, yeah. But the Iron Fist one was supposed to be more of a kung fu thing, and like a more classic. And it seems like they went ahead and just ditched that idea. Like they, instead of filming it like that, they've decided just to film it like any other
I think
fast-paced fighting thing would be.
I think it might have worked out for them better on the first season if they were trying to keep that slower pace.
Yeah.
Shorten the season.
Yeah, I think that, and it looks like from here on out, they're going to be more around 10 episodes, which I think is really, really good, because that was the. I feel like a lot of these Netflix shows have been good, But if they had cut 2, 3, 4 episodes, they could have been really good.
Yeah.
But cut some of the fat because Luke Cage absolutely fell after Cottonmouth died.
Yeah.
You didn't need Diamondback at all. He wasn't an interesting character. They had built up to it, but it just didn't have the payoff.
No.
But season 2 though was the opposite of that. It seemed like it started
I didn't think it was
slow,
the opposite.
But I feel like everything was needed for that season.
Yeah, and everything felt like it
served a
rolled
purpose.
on.
They're more making the series for the story instead of the story to fit the series.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so far I've really enjoyed, like, the fight scenes have been really good. The story is really good. It's been very enjoyable. It's not as I don't feel like it's as convoluted as the first one was, and it's not he's not as annoying of a character. He feels like he's matured a lot. So
Well, let me ask you guys this. So I keep hearing a lot, both everyone here saying just, I'm kind of an outsider at this point, although I've seen Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
You guys keep saying that you feel with these story arc seasons that 10 episodes is about as far as they need to go with it.
yeah.
Sometimes shorter.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about taking a more, maybe if they did a more traditional television show where, say, there were maybe a few episodes sprinkled in that were like non-arc related, that were just single episodes?
They've done some, because I feel like they did some of that in Luke Cage. When they had to take him, he got injured and they had to take him to the doctor, and it was like completely off of the storyline. It was an extra little
Kind
piece.
of the origin story, basically, is what it was.
Do you feel that was something more in the spirit of what I was saying, or do you think that's more of like fluff?
Well, I feel like I feel like it could have been what you were saying, but it turned out being fluff, because there was some of that stuff in Jessica Jones where she goes back to her home that she lived in and stuff in the first season, and I think if it had been edited down a little bit, it wasn't bad. Jessica Jones,
creepy
I think,
as shit.
No, that's true, but I think it was at least a whole episode or 2.
Yeah.
And I think it could have been less than that. And you could have kept the creepy elements that needed to be there to, like, explain her and to give her a little bit more character development. But I honestly am excited if they're going to more of this 10-episode format.
Yeah. Good answer, TJ.
As a contrast to a traditional television season, these are designed to be thrown out on a binge watch too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So all these episodes come out on the same day. You're not waiting for the next week and so it feels more like it was written as a continuous,
like a 10-hour movie, as opposed to a series or a season.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
They put little cliffhangers at the end of each episode or whatnot. It's a little draw to get you
to make you go to the next
into
episode.
a bow.
Yeah, keep the binge going, but as a whole, though, it's not written as, it doesn't feel like it's written as a series. It's written as like a long movie.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
But
what else you got?
Other than that, the Good Place. We've talked about season 1 of that. Nathan really loved it. I watched it. TJ watched it. Chuck watched it. And second season, I think last week or the week before. I think maybe before last.
I think last Friday.
Yeah, I think
Friday
so.
before last.
Season 2 had dropped, but we were me and Allison were still watching Insatiable, which is a Netflix show about a beauty queen. It was a girl that was a fat girl that gets skinny, and now she wants to be a beauty queen.
Oh, I thought this was like the name Insatiable. I thought this was like a Zalman King's Red Shoe Diaries type show or something.
But we finished up the last 2 episodes of it, and it got nuts at the end. It was a lot of fun to watch. But after that, we were like, well, we have to go to watch The Good Place. And I think it's, how many episodes is it?
It's 12 episodes like the first one was.
Okay. I think we got to episode 9 or 10, so we have very few left.
Yeah, I got to episode 6 on it.
But it's so far been just as good.
I love how they've changed the premise on it.
Yeah. Which a lot of times these shows will have a formula and they'll stick with it for a couple of seasons and then they'll change stuff up. We've talked about this before, but The Good Place essentially is these people wake up and they find out they've died, and you can either go to the good place or the bad place. So they ended up in The Good Place. Ted Danson he runs this perfect town for all of these people, and they live with their soulmates.
It's actually Ted Danson?
It's actually Ted Danson.
Or
he plays a character. He plays a character.
Okay.
I wish it was actually Ted Danson,
too.
but that'd be amazing.
And Ted Danson is...
I don't. We need all the angels we can get down here on Earth.
And Ted Danson is excellent in this show.
Yep.
And the main girl in it is
Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell, who we love from Veronica Mars. But
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I don't remember her in that, but I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's one of my favorite movies. She played Sarah Marshall.
Did she? Okay. Oh, so Sarah Marshall wasn't in the film a lot, was she?
No.
Okay.
Fanboys. She was in that as well.
She was awesome in Fanboys. I love that movie.
And she's also the voice of Elsa in
Frozen. Yeah.
But we love her, and she is a shitty person, and she thinks she's tricked the system somehow. She's shown up in The Good Place, and she knows she should not be there.
Yeah.
And the super twist at the end of season 2 is...
Into season 1.
Season one, sorry. Is that they're not in the good place. They're in the bad place. And this is an experiment that this Ted Danson, this demon, has decided to like make people... Instead of torturing them by like cutting their skin off and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was also so they didn't have to torture them. They let themselves be tortured.
So it's a experiment that Ted Danson is being allowed to try by his managers in hell. Or not hell, I'm sorry, the bad place.
No.
And season 2 is all about Ted Danson's character has been told by his manager, because they figure it out at the end of season 2. They figure out, we're in the bad place.
Yeah, in season 1.
Season 1. So in season 2, it's he can make them forget and start it over. But his boss has told him, you get one more try. And, well, he does a few more than one more tries. But it's all about him trying to perfect this whole thing, and they keep figuring it out.
Yeah, I love the focus on the other like demons too.
Yes, because you also find out this whole entire town is populated by all these other people that are supposed to be in the good place, but they're actually just demons, and they're playing the part. They're being actors.
Yeah,
and they're really mad about it because they're like, I used to be in the needle eye department, and I loved sticking needles in people's eyes. God, now I have to be Jennifer, stuff like that. And it's just hilarious because they all like don't. It's like Ted Danson is this artist, and they don't get his vision.
Yeah. TJ was telling me about fake Eleanor.
Yeah,
her new
Vicky.
role.
Yeah, she's great.
God, yes. But yeah, the season 2 is just as good as season 1 so far.
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to seeing how all of this ends, because season 1 was one of the best twists I've seen in a TV show in a long time, and especially for such a fun TV show. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with it.
Do you think they've got any more twists like that left in them?
I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
There was a sort of twist already that I've got to see, but I'm expecting something a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And also, one of my other favorite things is that apparently there's not only is there a good place and a bad place, there's a middle place.
Yeah,
that's a beige house with this one woman there.
Yeah, in the middle of a plain.
Yeah, just like a meadow. And all she has, the house is stuck in the 90s, so she only has VHS tapes of things like Cannonball Run 2.
Dang. So terrible sequels and things.
Not horrible, but just not the best.
Yeah.
So everything there is so
is like this
mediocre.
Yeah.
And
the decor is just mediocre.
What's her name? It's something Sinclair. But she every time they come to her place, she's like, "Did you bring me cocaine?
Did you bring me cocaine this time?"
Yeah. So that's another just really fun part of that. This show is, I mean, it's a 20 to 30 minute episodes.
Yeah.
It's real easy to just
jump
plow
into it.
through. So watch season 1 of that if you haven't, and season 2 is just as good. So you're not going to be disappointed.
Season 3 starts on the 27th.
And we're hoping it's going to be on Hulu.
It was last year.
Okay, so
it was last season.
Hopefully we'll be able to start that because we'll be done
stay on
with
top of it.
27th of this month?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why I'm trying to get through it. And
so you can still be caught up and watch it.
Yeah, on the 27th, I can watch it on Hulu when it pops up and everything.
And unfortunately, this week we lost one of the greats. Burt Reynolds passed away, and I found out I don't know how I married this girl. Allison had never seen Smokey and the Bandit.
Didn't have that problem with Katie.
No, I can imagine that.
One of Jack's favorite movies. So
it's probably one of Katie's favorite movies. So I sat Allison down.
That's why he's always whistling Eastbound and Down.
But I sat Allison down and we watched through Smokey and the Bandit. And if you haven't seen Smokey and the Bandit in a while,
or ever, because
if you ever,
we do have a lot of younger
That's true.
listeners.
If you've never seen Smokey and the Bandit, it is worth a watch. But I feel like it was made like cinema was so different back then.
Yeah.
Now you have people like us that a new movie comes out and we sit down and we talk about it. On this podcast, you listen about it. We read articles about it, and we're like, "Oh, this plot hole here, this thing here. I liked this. I didn't like this." I don't feel like back then they had that problem. They just did not give a fuck.
They had local reviews and stuff.
Yeah,
and
Siskel and Ebert. There's so much stuff watching it that you're like, at the end of the movie, they pull the truck. Number one, this is a movie based on the premise of there's a person that made a bet with Burt Reynolds, the bandit, that he couldn't bring beer back from Texarkana to Atlanta in, I think, 28 hours.
Well, it's a product of the time as well, because in that time period, you cannot bring Coors west of the Mississippi. I think it was any beer any alcohol that's produced on the west.
I think it was across state lines.
Yeah, or it was the Mississippi specifically.
Okay. But
one of the two, State Lines or the other.
I think State Lines was part of it because they bring it up in the movie. You have to have a special permit to do it. And Coors beer is the beer they're going after that they really want to have, which is again hilarious for this day and age.
Yes,
but
it's kind of a product placement movie with that in the car.
Yeah. But it's funny because the end of the close to the end of the movie, they're rolling in and there's like 40 cops behind them, and it's like I just look over to Alice and I'm like, okay, so they made it to their destination. The cops can't arrest them now because they didn't catch them in time, which is totally like bogus, you know. And like, but if anything like that happened in a real movie nowadays, people would be like, that's so stupid. And that's not actually what happens. They trick the cops. They hop out of their car, jump in another car, and take off to bandit again another day. But it is so ridiculous and so fun. There are so many shots that of them jumping things and driving through mud and stuff, and it's like immediately after this scene, that car never worked again. You see parts of the car flying off of it.
Oh yeah, it's like in the old Dukes of Hazzard TV show. It's like, we went through like 10 cars an episode on this one.
But it is it is a lot of fun because it is so ridiculous. But I feel like it stood up pretty well. It's still a very watchable film.
It's funny, and I love the outtakes that they do all through the credits and everything.
Yes,
those are great.
And he don't take his hat off, but for one thing, Chuck. So,
what?
Just think about that.
I also liked his first Cannonball Run. The second one wasn't as good, but the first one's a lot of fun as well.
Never seen Cannonball Run.
I haven't either, actually. Or Cannonball Run.
It's
2.
one of those race movies that's really popular back
during
then.
that time.
They had Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin were racing in a car, and Burt Reynolds and Dom DeLuise were in one, and there's all those 70s stars were kind of like driving different types of vehicles and stuff like that. So
just an ensemble movie.
Yeah, it's one of those ensemble race movies, and it's a product of its time, but it's still a lot of fun.
And I was explaining to Allison that this is not this is one of my dad's favorite movies, so I watched this movie a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But it's not his favorite movie. So we went on Amazon where we were watching this. This is on Amazon Prime for free, so if you want to go back and reminisce or watch it for the first time, it's free on there. And I was showing her the trailer to Every Which Way But Loose. Which is, if you're not familiar, it's a Clint Eastwood film about him and a monkey. Orangutan specifically. Yes. But I showed her the trailer for it, and I'd forgotten this, but this reminded me just how bad trailers used to be. So bad. Because this one starts off with, "Hey, honey, you want to watch a film? Sure, that sounds like a great idea to me. How do you feel about Clint Eastwood? Ooh, I like him. Well, how do you feel about Clint Eastwood fighting bad guys? Sounds about right to me."
I'm on board.
I'm on board. Yeah, it's just so bad. The credit or the trailers back then actually make the films look worse than they are.
Yeah, the original Star Wars trailer looks like shit.
Yeah, it is bad.
It's like, how the hell did you get people in the theater with this?
All of the Mad Max, the first early ones, they're really, really bad.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go watch old trailers now because they're just so bad. But we watched I didn't realize or didn't remember, maybe I just completely cut it from my brain. There are 3 Smokey and the Bandits. Yeah. The second one has Burt Reynolds. Third one? Nah, he didn't sign up for that one. It's just Jackie Gleason.
He got too big for Smokey and the Bandit.
The third one is just Jerry Reed and Jackie Gleason. Yeah. So, Snowman is the bandit in that one. So I'll probably be passing on that one.
I don't know, man. It's a part of history, man. I know. Kurt Cobain said it's better to burn out than fade away, but man, just give it a look. You might be surprised.
I feel like after I watched that trailer, I'm like, I may have seen this one before, but I definitely have not seen it as much as the other two.
It's not as bad as, say, an Ace Ventura Pet Detective Jr.
Oh, God. Was it Mask Jr. or the Son of Mask?
Or a Home Alone 3 or Son of Mask starring Jamie Kennedy. It's not as that bad.
But that was pretty much it for my my Nerd On this week.
Yeah, good job sticking to one. Okay. TJ, in our counterclockwise crazy time, what's your Nerd On?
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't
you
apologize.
threw me off with your whole...
I know, I told you, I'm changing it up. Be prepared, guys.
Get wild in here tonight.
The only thing I really got is this week I'll be, or the end of last week, I got the Hot Toys Royal Guards.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Oh, both of them too, right?
Yeah, I got 2 of them.
Yeah, they didn't like hold one any longer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you have the Emperor already?
Nope. No.
He hasn't come out yet?
No. God, they pushed him back.
Thank God.
Financially
speaking. Back.
Those Royal Guards are going to be real bored for a while.
Nah, they're supposed to get there before the Emperor. They're supposed to
gotcha.
Be there.
Make sure it's all cool, yeah.
Yeah. But
I just see like TJ's wallet held up against a wall while Hot Toys and various other trademarked items beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Like a piñata.
Give me your money, old man.
Nothing left.
No.
Oh. Like, we're going to break your legs if you're not ready next month.
Break your fucking wallet legs.
So we either should have or maybe did have the Vader go up on. You did the Vader review, and then a few weeks ago you did the Gladiator Hulk.
Ooh,
so this one should be going up on GWW sometime in the next week or so.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. We'll post it on our Twitter and on our Facebook and everything.
Bolo.
Then I'll be doing a couple of classic reviews in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, very cool.
They're going to be in black and white and everything.
I'll try to do that if you guys feel like it's warranted.
Yeah.
If I ever get around to getting the damn 3-0 T-45 armor, you know, we can do like, this is the T-45 1/6 figure, like it's a 1950s instructional video.
Is the T-45 the robot from Robo?
It's the power armor
from what?
Fallout.
Yeah. Oh! I was on a completely different level. That would be cool. I would love to see that.
Of the Ed 209.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought I'd given more detail than I had. Ooh, numbers! I love numbers.
Yeah. Well, and when I was thinking, I'm thinking Mike. So I'm thinking instantly going to go RoboCop.
Of course. Yeah,
and you said
type of law enforcement item.
Yeah. It had a T in front of it, which threw me off because I thought Terminator first. And I was like, no, that's not right. So yeah, that would be a cool figure to see though.
It would be really cool because it has removable parts and everything.
Oh yes.
Like armor pieces.
Yeah.
To kind of be like the game where
You can change out stuff and all.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, yeah,
I love that about that game. Which game is it from? Is it Fallout 4?
Okay, cool. Specifically. Yeah. But I think it's pretty much the same design they've been going with the recent Fallout reboots.
Okay.
3 in New Vegas and all that. Like, it's the same.
It's that style of power armor from those games.
What else you got, TJ?
We're also working on. Well, if you check out our YouTube, go subscribe to it because we're gearing up to start doing some video reviews on some of these. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll be pushing through that stuff. So
gotta get them all our video equipment from my mom.
Yeah,
that was it.
Our VHS recorder.
Yeah, those camcorders get heavy. You know, the one we have about 25, 30 pounds.
Your dad going to let you get the tripod from out of his bedroom?
I don't know. Maybe he says that he has it in a really nice spot where it's hard to see, and it's really difficult to get it back there. So
gotcha.
I don't know.
And Mike has to bring it back every night when we get finished with the reviews.
Yeah. So. Yes, and I have to clean it every time I take it.
so
it's kind of a pain in the ass. Speaking of pains in the ass, Chuck, what's your nerd on?
Well, I have furthered my listening to the Stephen King trilogy with William Hodges.
Bill Hodges trilogy?
Bill Hodges. Yes. First book in the series, Mr. Mercedes. Second is... Oh my god, I fucking forgot the name of the second one.
That's a weird name for a book.
Finders Keepers.
Very long.
And, I'm sorry. Third book, I'm working on that one. I have about 5 hours left. End of watch, and this is the conclusion to the Bill Hodges saga. Brings back reoccurring nemesis of Bill Hodges.
Wayne Brady?
No,
Brady Hartsfield.
Brady Hartsfield.
Not Wayne Brady.
I don't know how to talk about the book because I don't want to give anything away if anybody wants to read it, but Brady Hartsfield is the overarching villain
in all 3 books.
The second one he's mentioned and he's visited by Hodges, but it's delving more towards the end of Hodges' life, and it's not a spoiler because he's mentioned in The Outsider, which came out afterwards. He's already died. But this one is now going into.
I can read the book description and it says he's dying.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I didn't want to because I'm horrible at spoiling things, but in this one it's taking more of a supernatural aspect to it with Hartsfield because apparently he's a fucking vegetable, but he's been coming around with therapy and he's now starting to partake in his old ways of killing people.
Ooh.
So they call him a suicide prince.
Sounds kind of like Exorcist 3 or the book Legion.
What do you mean by that? Because I haven't seen Exorcist 3.
In the sense that he's in a vegetative state, but they still kill, and reanimate things.
Yeah, because there's instances where the nurses that are in the hospital he's at for the past 15, 18 months are now starting to get scared of him because when they go into his room, the blinds will move on their own, water faucets will turn on their own. Like, they felt things upon them that, like, hey, there's something going on in here. So, don't want to go too much into how he's doing it, but Hodges is now starting to realize, hey, Hartsfield's not faking, or he's been faking the whole time. He's not been this unresponsive person. He's been trying to find a way back to his old ways of killing people again.
So I think the main question I have on this is, are you ever going to read books that aren't Stephen King books?
He's read a ton of books that aren't Stephen King books.
I just like them, and I was recommended this by... Did you recommend it, or was it Nathan? Because you recommended The Outsider.
I mentioned that I recommended The Outsider, and I mentioned the trilogy had a character, Holly, and...
Hodges,
because she referenced him a lot in The Outsider, and Nathan read it, said it was great, and then you got it.
Yeah.
So I don't know necessarily who recommended it. I feel it was just brought to the attention that it exists.
Yeah.
And you guys were like, yeah, let's get it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So what do you feel? I know you're not all the way through book 3 yet. Out of the 3, what has been your favorite? I'm assuming overall, including The Outsider, The Outsider is your favorite.
Well, I wouldn't include that with this story arc, even though there's the mentions of Holly Gibney and Bill Hodges. I'm gonna go with the first one, Miss Mercedes, because the second book didn't really deal a lot with Hartsfield and Hodges. It was more along the lines of Pete Salvers and the guy that killed the author, and it's their cat and mouse of the guy getting out of jail to find what he had buried, and it's not there. And so the second book, even though it's a nice filler between the two books, I won't consider that my favorite. And
it's a middle one. It's a middle book. It's a middle.
No, it's
film.
still good, but it doesn't. I don't feel like it's as rock solid as the first or the bookend so far.
Fair enough.
But
yeah.
Miss Mercedes, I do like that because you see the ramifications of that book. Because the boy Pete Salvers, his dad was one of the people at the town center when Hartsfield ran through everybody with the Mercedes. He was one of the ones that was injured.
Of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it's so if you haven't read them, or if you kind of want to get into something else besides Stephen King from his traditional horror books, I would recommend reading the Bill Hodges series of Miss Mercedes, Finders Keepers, and End of Watch, and then go into The Outsider for I would say, almost a conclusion to a point.
I would say that.
Yeah.
I think Holly's going to show up in more books in the future.
I hope so, because from The Outsider, you saw she was kind of strong but a little weird, and you see her progression from Mercedes, Finders Keepers to End of Watch, how she's becoming a stronger character, and her little tics and things that set her off are starting to go away, and she's getting more and more capable of what she's doing.
Resilient.
Yes.
Cool.
And,
awesome, man. What else you got?
Other than that, I started a show, or the second season of the show. It dropped Friday. Nathan had told me about it, I think it was last year. Show a Netflix original, Atypical. Season 2 picks up right where the first season left off. And for those that don't know, Atypical is about the Gardner family, particularly Sam. He's on the spectrum, he's autistic, and it's pretty much the day-to-day routine of how this family is moving along, because Sam is the older of the two children, and he wants to start dating. So it's him coming to terms with what he wants to do, his parents being overprotective, his younger sister is at times wanting to live her own life because she's having to take care of him while they're both at school. And the show pulls at your emotions really well. It's lighthearted with the humor, and it's great acting. Like, I never thought I'd think of Michael Rappaport as a great actor, but this show has proved me wrong. And season 2 picks up right after the events of season 1. This one, it's just the huge fallout of what happens when one of the family members one of the parents makes a huge fuck up, and now Sam is determining, he's like, you know what? I've dated, now I need to decide what I'm going to do with my life when I'm done graduating, so he's trying to find new help, new people to get him, to coach him to that level, because he's wanting to go to college. His younger sister has now moved to a prep school, and she's not there for him, and the two parents are trying to figure out what to do, and it's like, seems like every little problem that they've experienced their whole life is now starting to weigh on everybody in a different way. It's still great. It's I think this season's more emotional than the first one. I'm only 5 episodes in. So if you want a change of pace or something, I would suggest Atypical on Netflix. I think it's only 8 or 9 episodes a season, but it's very good.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely have to give it a look.
Thank you.
Look-see. All right, is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll finish it up. I have been reading another continuation of one of my favorite series called Monster Hunter International. I mentioned it a lot. Just to give you a recap, in this world, monsters exist, and there are people who are, for the most part, mercenaries who are hired to kill monsters for the government, for people, whatever. And it's all under wraps. You can't talk about it all and whatnot. The author is Larry Correia or Correa. I don't quite know how to pronounce it, but I like a lot of his books. I've read a ton of them, not just in the genre, but he's a really solid author. I've enjoyed it thoroughly so far. This one is called The Monster Hunter Files and is more of an anthology of smaller stories. But it involves a lot of the original characters, a lot of cool like monster types. It's really into guns, military type stuff. It's right up my alley, obviously. If you either got to be an army man or a cop from the times or robots, I love you. But so far, I have enjoyed, like I said, the story, everything. It's classic. Anything by Larry Correia, I'd recommend anyway. He has another cool series, which is like a hard-boiled detective type story that takes place in the mid-30s, but everyone has magic.
Oh, weird.
And so it's like gangsters and magic. There's also something called Son of the Black Sword, which is a fantasy novel. Really good. I would recommend everything the guy's written. I've enjoyed a lot. So I'm just loving the fuck out of them.
Sounds like a cool premise.
It is a really cool premise. It can be hokey at times, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. But the story's good. The characters are interesting. My favorite one is there's a character named Franks who works for the government, the MCB, Monster Control Bureau. And he's this really just big, deep voiced dude who just hates the main character of the series. And it turns out that he's actually Frankenstein.
Oh, gosh, that's good.
They call him Franks. And he somehow got over to America in the 1700s, took a cannonball to the chest, in a fight in the Revolutionary War. Benjamin Franklin sewed him back together, and he signed a contract to protect America.
Wow,
and
that's good.
Holy shit!
It's fucking awesome. And he's built like a brick shit house, and he's just a badass. Just stabbing the fuck out of people, ripping heads off, killing demons. Franks is a dick, but he's pretty cool.
He's our dick.
He's our hard dick. Another thing, as well, everyone here who is here, so Ray, yes. TJ, Chuck, me, TJ, and Ray's wives, and a couple of our friends and family members, Bree, Krista, and Allison, we all went to the beach.
Yeah,
for our last summer.
Our last summer
of the beach
party. Mm-hmm. We've been doing beach days. We've done 3 of them this summer, and we've been going to this Flagler Beach, which is about 2.5 hours southeast.
It's like southeast,
and about 30 minutes north of Daytona.
Yeah. And we started going there because we found out that alcohol was allowed there, but this week we maybe found out maybe that wasn't true, but we still had alcohol. Don't tell anyone. But it, what was I? It's just a very chill beach. There's not a ton of like.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of people there.
No.
It's chill as far as the people go.
That's what. But
as far as the ocean goes,
oh no,
the ocean was an asshole.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah. Last time Mike lost his hat and his glasses. This time. He just lost his dignity.
It was just the glasses this time, and they were much cheaper, so it wasn't as bad.
And it also assaulted us with seaweed.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was a bunch of seaweed this time. There wasn't before, but
probably from the red tide or something killing everything. And I was wearing a shirt because number 1, I'm horrified by my body, and number 2, it helps with terrible thing called the sun.
Yeah.
It burns me. And the seaweed, the kelp kept getting wrapped up in my shirt and my pants and like stabbing me. So that sucked. And our eyes burning as we were just pummeled by waves.
But it wasn't as bad. The waves weren't as bad as last time we went. Me and Mike spent I probably spent like 2 or 3 hours out in just the ocean, like just being dominated by the waves.
Yeah.
Mike was probably out there for like 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah, Mike's out there a good long time.
I enjoy the ocean when I'm out there. It's once every decade, so
yeah, we don't go very often.
Got mine in. Apparently, we're gonna try.
Yeah, because this was me and Allison have been like once or twice since we've been married. We've been married for 7 years, and then this year we set up 3 trips, and we took our tents out there and we set up. This time we had like tables and everything. We had a whole fucking system up.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, we have so many drinks,
We still
so
need
many
a wagon.
foods. We need a wagon bad because I have this huge ass white
I say a
motherfucking cooler that is great because it holds so much.
We need a
But it's
slide.
heavy.
but it is
We need
very
a
heavy.
fucking slide, like a
And
matchbox
lever
slide.
and pulley system.
Yeah, and just crank that shit back up when we're done. Because it is murder getting it through that sand.
It really is. It really is. But it's great when we have a lot of people because you can put a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it, you know, we could take 4 or 5 coolers, but why when you can take one?
Yeah.
But it's one heavy ass cooler.
That's
It
the only
is.
thing.
But yeah, I think everyone had a great time. First time Chuck's been to the beach in probably
About
10
a
years.
decade, yeah.
And
I was getting my ass kicked.
it was a kind of overcast day when we first got there, but the sun came out and it wasn't too hot. It was the water wasn't as cool as it had been, so it had warmed up a little bit by now. And then we went and all had dinner afterwards and headed back, and it was a nice into summer kind of thing because it'll still be hot here till December, but
we're in the, I think, what they call the Indian summer part of our summer. Just September.
Yeah.
Still hot.
Realistically,
Still
we could
hot.
probably go to the beach again in November.
no, we
okay.
absolutely could, and it would be a little cool maybe.
Yeah, there's
But-
some places along the beach that stay 75 almost year round.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do an autumn beach trip. I don't know if I'm into it, but
Watch the sand change colors as autumn comes on.
yeah. So was that everyone's nerd ons? Anyone else got anything to add?
That's about it, man.
Rich?
It's been playing Doom.
Skyrim.
I think he means Skyrim. Jason.
I still really want that Spider-Man game, but now I gotta fix a fucking Jeep.
Yeah.
So,
Somebody
It's
else did
priorities,
that
man.
on the Reddit. They were bitching. It's like, obey the laws, guys. Got a traffic ticket for running a stop sign. Now I can't afford the Spider-Man game.
God damn it! It looks beautiful. Nathan picked
Yeah,
it
it
up.
does.
If he was here, he would tell you about how he's been playing it.
He would
And
have
we would-
Why he's not here, probably.
diarrhea at the mouth. But yeah,
Yeah.
Marshall, who's sick,
Oh, yeah.
which means he wanted to play more Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do love the memes I'm seeing from the game already.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet, but I
Pretty
look
much,
forward to
they're
them.
opening. They open.
Oh yeah, yeah,
case,
yeah.
it's just
And it's
dirt or dust.
from
Yeah, they're like
Infinity
still
War.
too soon.
There's some cool places. Nathan found Doctor Strange's compound, his
that's cool.
manor.
Yeah.
I saw a picture. Somebody took a selfie at the Wakanda embassies
Oh, that's
as
cool.
well. So there's a lot of Easter eggs in the game, apparently.
Which I love.
Yeah, I always love that.
It makes the world real.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to some news.
I think we should do news, Ray.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you to the newsman of the evening, Jimmy Ray Hancock. Come on now. He's with the news. You're gonna read the news now. Jimmy Ray is with the news. Hey Ray, what type of news you got tonight? Well, I hope it's good, 'cause it's Ray with the news. Here we go. Ray's with the news jam. Ray's reading the news jam. Ray's reading the news jam. Ray's reading the news jam.
Hey guys, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty this week during the news segment. Part of the segment, Chuck's microphone is off, so we just wanted to let you know in advance. But don't worry, it's Chuck. You're not missing out on too much. All right, guys, so let's talk about some news. So we got some good
Is there any
news.
new news?
There is a little bit of new news. Terry Crews sent out a link this week that apparently in season 6 of Brooklyn Nine-Nine has been expanded to 18 episodes. Thank God.
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be the
Yeah.
final season.
Mm-hmm.
It got dropped by Fox and picked up by NBC. That I don't have for you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when the release for that's supposed to be. But yeah, but I am excited that we're going to get more episodes of it. So
He's always excited about
I don't
all
think
of
Terry
this
Crews
stuff.
is not excited about anything.
Yeah.
Terry Crews is so fucking excited that you're excited that he's excited about it.
Yeah.
We also found out that Henry Cavill will be the star of Netflix Witcher. He'll be playing Geralt. Is that right? Geralt?
Yeah.
Geralt, yes.
Yes. From The Witcher. I've never played the game. I know people love it. So What are y'all's thoughts on Henry Cavill playing the character Geralt?
Apparently, he's a big fan, and that can
can help.
That
good
can spell
or bad.
disaster for actors.
Yeah,
Spell greatness for writing.
yeah. Like
Nick Cage.
Well, Ryan Reynolds is a huge Deadpool fan.
Also a huge Green Lantern fan.
That's true.
Yeah, he would have done. I mean, he
also a
did
huge Deadpool fan. The Weapon X.
He did
Origins
Deadpool
Wolverine.
for X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
Well, you know
that
why?
shows how bad he wanted to do the
wrote
role.
Deadpool. He didn't
Yeah.
write Origins. He didn't write Green Lantern. He wrote Deadpool.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Do you think this means anything? Because some people are worried that this means something for Cavill's portrayal of Superman.
I don't think so.
You don't think this will
He
interfere?
needs something else to do, and there's been no official announcement from DC that he's not Superman anymore.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
So
not.
I think that's one of those things where they would officially come out and say, we got the new Superman or something like that.
Yeah, Ray actually posted a Twitter post about Henry Cavill stepping down as Superman, and when you click the link, it was actually not that.
Oh, I forgot about
It
that.
was a redirection to a song by an artist from the 80s called Rick Astley,
Yes.
and
But-
the song was called Never Gonna Give You Up.
I
did not appreciate
retweeted it, and I forgot who it was, but it was like some big news, like nerd news thing,
Yeah.
like ID or
Birds with
IGN
vaginas.
or something like it was something like that, or Hollywood
Latino
Reporter.
Review.
Yeah. So I thought it was hilarious that they would do that, but
Yeah.
So we also got for DC Universe's, I believe the 15th. So that'll be this week. They're finally opening the doors for DC Universe. So I'm
God.
already signed on. I've got 15 months of worth of DC Universe, and we've been talking a lot about Doom Patrol. They hired Brendan Fraser,
Brendan Fraser.
Frazier. And Alan Tudyk is going to also be in Doom
Alan
Patrol.
Tudyk.
It's like Nathan's here.
Listen. Alan Tudyk.
So
Okay.
Ray, do you know how Reavers clean their spears?
How?
They put them through the wash.
Oh,
That's a good one.
Thank you.
So we got another announcement. I'll try not to mess his name up. Timothy Dalton is going to be playing.
Timothy Dalton.
is going to be playing Chief in Doom Patrol.
Okay.
So
Damn.
these are some pretty decent actors, at least, or like decent
Now they're well
names.
known.
Yeah, that they're getting for this DC Universe show that's only going to be streaming on DC Universe.
Yeah.
So, what are y'all's thoughts about Timothy Dalton being added to this show? It's been
Doctor
a while. Was it Doctor Who?
Yeah, he played a minor role about 7 or 8 years ago in Doctor Who.
Wow, that's still been a while though.
Yeah.
That's a pretty. I feel like that's a pretty big name though for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Not big anymore, but
Yeah.
I think it's an established actor.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's more
maybe
what I
we can
mean.
see him like a John Travolta, like with Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
He's a lot better than he gets credit for too. I think that run on
Man
Bond
was James
kinda-
Bond.
Yeah, I think it gave people a bad taste in their mouths for him, but he's a better
Yeah,
actor.
because a lot of
than
people don't like the Dalton
Mm-mm.
years of Bond, but
No.
that's a pretty big
A lot of
franchise.
people are stupid.
So here's a rumor for us: Netflix has a project that they're putting $150 million into.
Jesus.
Michael Bay is with Ryan Reynolds.
That's
though.
barely going to cover the explosion budget.
With Ryan Reynolds, and it's been said that it's going to be a war film and all this stuff. But the rumor is a relatively, someone who may kind of know what they're talking about, reliable source, says that this is actually a Thundercats film that they're going to be doing. I mean,
Look what Bay
Bay
did for the
hasn't-
Turtles and the Transformers.
Yeah, Bay hasn't
How
ruined
could
any-
it go wrong?
But it's interesting that we have Ryan Reynolds in the mix here.
Yeah.
$150 million. That's a pretty big.
Chump change.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's That's a big project, and
to
say what you will about Michael Bay, he does make a lot of money for people.
That's true, and he has been attached to the Thundercats film that up until now has not been released.
Yeah,
for a while now. So this is a rumor. This is just something that someone said, and then someone else reported on, and I thought was interesting.
I think it's interesting. I'm curious about it. If this is what it is,
yeah,
I'd be very interested to at least. It's kind of like a train wreck. You know, you kind of want to see what it looks like.
Yeah,
and oh, be quiet, Chuck.
We'll see.
Yeah, it could be okay.
I mean, maybe someone like Ryan Reynolds could rein in Bay.
No,
I don't think so. Okay.
No, I think he would encourage Michael Bay.
Yeah,
that's true.
He's
to do what he does best.
He's like, you know what this really needs, Mike? More explosions. Are you
just
sure,
don't think
Ryan? There's I can't see an actor in this shot. Trust me, more explosions.
The only
not
thing
less.
I want to see, other than explosions in the shot, are bouncing tits.
How about dancing fire tits, Michael? That's a great suggestion, Ryan.
Only if the nipples.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were asking our Michael or Michael Bay.
I would agree to both. Yeah,
actually,
either one's gonna say yes. Bouncing fire tits, I'm in.
Is there anyone in this room that's going to say no?
Not if they're smart.
So yeah, that is a thing we could be getting. We'll see.
I hope there's a sing number called Thunderscats.
I hope it does happen. I hope it has a Phil Collins soundtrack.
So
Chuck
think
will be so torn.
Ray, I hate to. Go ahead.
I wanted to hear what Mike was saying.
I think we found the name of the episode.
Bouncing fire tits?
No, Thunderscats.
Thunderscats. The second G.I. Joe wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
There's a couple of the Transformers movies that were pretty decent. And the second Ninja Turtles movie was kind of fun.
I watched part of that. I didn't ever finish it. I think I watched it after one of our podcasts, and I finished everything.
Yeah.
Charles, you are creepily protective
of
Thundercats.
Yeah.
Chuck, calm yourself. My question is,
nerd rage coming out.
No shit.
Legitimate. If you could make your own Thundercats movie, since you hate every rendition ever made other than the original, how would you make it?
You don't like?
I didn't say.
No, he's saying if
I'm talking
someone
about
else
the
were to
most
do
recent incarnations. Like you didn't like the cartoon. You're worried about Michael Bay and Ryan Reynolds, who's done so much for Deadpool. And Michael Bay, who's done so much for Bad Boys, the song.
Yeah. No,
but they've been good. I'm not a super Deadpool fan.
So, arguing semantics aside, what would be your perfect Thundercats movie? Would it be animated? Would it be live action? What do you think?
A Wes Anderson directed Thundercats.
Would it be a dance number? Would it be Thunderscats? Would it be like Cats on Broadway?
So how's Bill Murray going to be in that movie though?
He's gonna. Who is the bald blue one? He would just be that one. Panthro, yeah. Obviously. Well, let's move on then.
No, I really want to see this Wes Anderson Thundercats.
I do too. I really want to see it.
Isle of Thundercats.
I want to write that now.
The Fantastic Mr. Thundercat.
Yes. So Ant-Man and the Wasp crossed $60 million globally at the box office this week, which has helped Marvel make $4 billion. 600. I'm sorry.
Okay.
600
million. Like that wouldn't even cover the budget.
It's like, goddamn, sorry, it's been out for 2 months.
$600 million.
This movie made hundreds of dollars. They're rich. They really pulled him out of the fire for that $60 million.
2 people in China saw it.
Yeah. Which the reason it was important is because it helped Marvel jump to $4 billion in 2018.
Good Lord.
Which I was interested. The reason this interested me is I was like, I can't remember how much did Disney invest in buying Marvel for. So in 2009, they bought Marvel for $4 billion. So just this year alone,
They bought Marvel for $4 billion?
yeah.
They paid that much for a bankrupt
Yes.
company?
Well, at the time, that's 2009. They weren't bankrupt in 2009, were they? That was in the early 90s that they went bankrupt. That's when they had to sell off all their parts. They were still
They weren't in great
they weren't
shape.
No, they were not doing great. But that's a lot of property to buy, and it's super paid off, especially
Man, George Lucas got ripped off.
how much did
He sold Star Wars for $4 billion.
was it $4 billion?
For Lucasfilm. He sold Lucasfilm for $4 billion and Industrial Light
Yeah,
Magic
I was
and
gonna
all
say
that
they got
shit with
all
it
of that together
for
with
$4
it.
billion, and they paid $4 billion for Marvel.
And how much did they just pay for Fox?
$52 billion.
Ah.
No, 72 billion. wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Marvel. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but they paid the same for Lucasfilm as they did for the Marvel comics. No.
well,
Okay. Whatever. Good for going for you guys, man.
yeah, for real. I
think so.
maybe if not, they're close. Oh yeah.
Well, that's just purchasing. That they still had to sink a lot of money to make this stuff.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But just in this year they've made the amount that they paid for Marvel. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
Little snippet. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So they're doing all right for themselves. I mean that doesn't put much of a chunk in that $72 billion or whatever that they paid for Fox, but I'm sure that stuff will pay for itself as well. Also, Marvel this week, we got the reveal of a lot of the Captain Marvel stuff from Entertainment Weekly. Brie Larson put on Twitter, "Hey, Entertainment Weekly, do you want to break the internet?" And the next day they released they always do like photo shoots and stuff like that for a lot of the movies. She's featured on the cover and everything. So we got to see a lot of interesting things in this. We got to see the Skrull, which we hadn't seen before, and they look great.
Yeah. There's nobody else they could be.
No. Yeah. I think at one point in the chat, I don't think the stuff had been released yet, and I said something like, if that's who they are, but it's like very obvious that's who they are. They just had not said anything about it, and the article wasn't out yet. Also, you get to see Jude Law as I believe he's playing Marvel, the original Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You get to see Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, in the green suit that we had seen before. That people were like, "Well, are they just
the behind the scenes photos?"
Yeah, are they going to CGI stuff? What's going on? But we also got shots of her in her actual suit.
Yeah,
and it looks great.
Yeah,
it looks really, really
good. She
good.
looks good. They're bringing back Ronan and from
Karath?
Guardian. Yeah, Karath from the Guardians 1.
Pursuer, is that it? Karath the Pursuer. Also, we have a two-eyed Nick Fury
with a nice scar.
Yeah, de-aged Nick Fury.
Looks really good too.
Yeah, it does. Maria Hill's going to be in this as well, and I think there was one other Coulson, and we're also not Monica Rambeau, Marie Rambeau.
Yeah,
Marie Proton Rambeau, who looks like she's going to be one of the flight people in the Air Force.
It was so cool.
Yeah, which apparently I didn't realize this. Some other people on some forum or something. So that's actually Monica's mom's name.
Oh, okay,
is Marie in the comics. So that might be hinting that maybe in this movie or maybe later on. I think it's just going to be more of a nod. I don't think we're really going to get Marie or Monica Rambeau.
But hey, could down the road whenever
that would be great.
Run out
That'd
of
be great.
People. Yeah,
because She was not. She was for you. Those of you that don't know, Monica Rambeau. I'm getting confused with my Monicas and Maries now. Played a character that was also called Captain Marvel, but it's not the same Captain Marvel. All the other Captain Marvels that we've had in the Marvel universe have been derivative of the original Captain Marvel, including the Carol Danvers one. She was the only one that was like a completely different character that just happened to be named Captain Marvel, and then later went on to be called Proton and like several other things.
Captain Trademark Holder.
Yes, yeah. So,
what are some of her powers since she's going to be such a big part of the MCU?
She actually got her powers from the original Captain Marvel. There's some kind. She's from like the 70s, so it's one of those like weirdo comic book pseudoscience things. There was some kind of machine that one of the original Marvel's villains was trying to destroy the world or something, and they ended up destroying the machine. But when it exploded, Captain Marvel saved Carol Danvers, and some of his powers went to her. She has a lot, like she absorbs energy, and it's a very generic-y superhero power. She absorbs energy and can redistribute it in like plasma blasts and stuff. She's super strong. She can fly.
And that was all before Rogue stole it.
yeah. A lot of people are sort of upset because no, never mind. A Rogue from the comic books from X-Men has a lot of her like strength and flight powers because she stole all of her powers from Captain Marvel, and for a long time like Captain Marvel was in a like coma or just completely out of it, maybe presumed dead. I don't even remember that part of it. Carol, yeah.
She was in a coma for a little bit, then she got out of it obviously, and was trying to rediscover herself, but ended up on a ship with the X-Men.
Yes, and
the Brood experimented on her, gave her powers as binary.
Yeah. So when she goes binary, which is one of her other aliases, she's much more powerful than her Captain Marvel persona, I guess. She binary like a star, so she has even more powers because she can So
Super Saiyan Mike, that's pretty
Super Sand. So she's an interesting character. I've always really liked Carol. I think she's gotten dealt a real shit hand in the comics lately, especially with a lot of the Comics Gate stuff and all, talking about Mary Sue's and all that kind of stuff, like social justice warriors. Oh, you just turned Captain Marvel into a girl and all that bullshit. But she also got a shitty part in Civil War II, which is just Marvel trying to rehash something that was successful. And the story just wasn't good, and they painted Carol as a bad guy for a stupid reason. So they tried to make her out to be the Tony of that, and tried to make Tony be the Captain America, and it just didn't work out very good. No, but she has some really good comics that you can read. Kelly. I think her name's Kelly Demorak or something like that. She's done a really, really good run. And there's a lot of other stuff out there.
Claremont did some amazing stuff with her back in the day.
He really did. She was one of my favorite parts during that run of the X-Men, when she partied with the X-Men for a while. And there's a really shitty, I think it's an annual of Avengers, where Carol is basically raped by her future son, and like all the
it's crazy.
It's time travel stupidness, but also like the way the writers did it was really shitty. Like, she was raped, and the Avengers were just kind of like, don't worry about it. No one cares. And Claremont like took that and like kind of flipped it around and made something good out of it, and it was like the X-Men were like, no, that's not cool. The Avengers are the Avengers, and we respect that, but they're wrong. You know, that kind of stuff.
Well, Carol got to tell the Avengers off.
Yes,
in that, which was amazing. I love that.
Which was great. So yeah, what did y'all think of the rest of the photos or the the costume and everything. You think it looks good? I doubt it's final.
Yeah.
You get a lot of the stuff you get with Entertainment Weekly. Yeah. Well, the main picture for the cover looks, I think Mike brought it up, looks very Photoshopped, but it's also Photoshopped because it's the cover of a magazine. So that stuff happens. I think there will be some tweaks to it, but if compared to what we started with for Apocalypse and what we ended with, it was better. But what we started with wasn't as good, and what we started with here is already good.
Yeah,
it already looks good. So I think anything they do from here is just going to be better.
I saw $240 on the cover.
$240.
Yeah.
What do you mean? The character.
Hot toy figure
yeah, because that hot toy character is going to look great.
Yeah, that Brie Larson's going to look pretty awesome.
Yeah, because the of course the color scheme's the same, but it's a very Captain America looking suit as well.
Yeah,
I love her like the star emblem and everything. Yeah, that's going to be a great figure when that comes out. I doubt that one will come with a lot of things either, though. That's
probably some energy effects and some. I would be surprised if it doesn't have some LEDs or something like that.
Oh, that would be great. LED, like hand effect things.
I'd be surprised if it didn't.
I don't know if they'll do binary. I don't know. That would be really interesting to see.
Depends on the movie and where they go with. That's why I'm interested about Captain Marvel. I'm so interested to see what they're going to do with it.
I honestly do feel like there could be an instance somewhere in there where they show like she's powerful throughout the whole thing, and then something happens and she has to sort of go binary because it's already been stated that she's the most powerful person in the MCU. And people are losing their shit over this, but Captain Marvel in the comics is really fucking tough. Yeah. Captain Marvel in the comics can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk, no problem. She has done it multiple times. Like, that's not a problem. Yeah. Like, she is really fucking powerful in the comics. So, I can't think, like, Doctor Strange is also really powerful in the comics. He might be the only one I would say in the Marvel Cinematic Universe could even touch her.
Thor.
They've really amped up Thor lately. So yeah, I would say so. I would say the first 3 Thor movies and the Avengers, probably not.
No.
Now, after Infinity War, yeah, they're a lot closer. What now? Hell, he was not. Is that what you're saying?
He was.
Oh, yeah. He was amped up more.
Yeah. She's going to be the toughest person that they're going to throw in here, especially with the lower ranges that they've done with the characters so far in the MCU.
Because Captain America, Black Panther, like, these are powerful characters, but like, this is our.
You're going cosmic now, and then scales are going up.
And the cosmic people that we have now as heroes are Star-Lord, who is not in the MCU, but in Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Drax. Those are all like, they're not power people.
No, so right now I think Thor's probably, as far as power goes, then you got Captain Marvel is going to be that next step. I think the only other person they can really introduce as far as a hero wise that would be that next step past that would be Silver Surfer.
Yeah,
which they can do now. So I'm just happy we're getting a nice gateway into that cosmic area.
Because we already had it a little bit with the Guardians.
Yeah,
but now we're getting to like the and I mean, Ego is a pretty fucking huge deal. And they were able to take that out. So I mean, I'm happy with this so far. This has been. It really does. It really does, and it's so interesting that they're making this like so far in the past in the 90s. So sorry about that, guys. We just made a cut because we realized Chuck has not been recording during the news, so
thank God. So if it was a better product, we're sorry.
Yeah, I apologize.
we're sorry to fix that better product for you.
You have to hear this shit voice.
Yeah, but we were talking about Captain Marvel being made in the 90s, and you were saying, Chuck.
I'm just wondering how it's going to progress to Avengers 4 if she's in that, because it's a, 20 year gap?
2025 at least.
Yeah, so how is she going to age, or is it going to be something weird because at the end of Infinity War, you see the pager going off, so she's been out in space.
I think her being a cosmic being means she doesn't age as much, so they won't even address that. She'll just show up and look the same, and no one will know any difference.
I was just wondering about how they would pull that off.
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but sometimes I just get a little tired of speculating some of this, and I just want to I just want to be a fan and watch it for a change, you know?
Yeah. That's not what we get paid for, TJ.
Yeah, no.
You get paid to put cabinets together.
Yeah.
I get paid to look at numbers a lot.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, Mike, what were your thoughts, your major thoughts on these photos that we got from Entertainment Weekly with Captain Marvel?
I like them and I hate them. One, because it gets good enthusiasm. I really like Brie Larson.
Yeah.
I've liked her since the first time I saw her in United States of Terra with Toni Collette, and doesn't matter, but with the dad's character, John Corbett, that's his name. It's just an all-around good show, and she was a really good actress in it. And as I've seen her career kind of grow, I've really enjoyed the movies she's picked, like Scott Pilgrim, and just different things like that.
Well, who was she in Scott Pilgrim? Because she wasn't on my radar at the time, so I don't recall her character. It's been a while since I've seen that.
She was Envy Adams, Scott's ex, in the band Clash at Demon Head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So that was her. I'm really excited. I didn't like that they were such bad photoshops, but that's usually how Entertainment Weekly goes.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
It also makes me kind of nervous just because, like TJ said, all of it's speculation. We don't know what kind of character she's going to be.
Yeah.
We don't know how the story's going to play out. It's just another piece in a puzzle that's not complete yet.
Yeah. But we'll be finding out soon, I guess.
She's a great actress.
Yeah.
I feel like she's going to do a really good job. I enjoy the cosmic aspect of the MCU more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
So I'm also excited to see more of that. And of course, they're basically space cops. So
true.
How could I not love that?
True. So moving on, Zombieland 2 begins filming in January in Atlanta. Of course, this is Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, and Jesse Eisenberg. In this rendition of Zombieland, they'll be dealing with super zombies.
What? I wonder what that's going to mean. Like, are we going to have a new chapter in how to deal with super zombies?
Well, it said that they're stronger and faster. So, I don't know. We'll see.
These must be like 28 days later type zombies.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the first Zombieland,
the zombies kind of moved a little quick in that movie, though.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be
quick.
Yeah, because the quickness of the zombies in 28 Days Later made them terrifying.
Yeah.
And the Zombieland zombies aren't really terrifying. It's not a terrifying horror film. It's more of a fun zombie film. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
They're pulling a good place and it's going to turn into a scary movie.
What kind of zombies do you guys prefer?
Fast or slow? Or
fast or slow?
Brain eating, not brain eating?
I prefer traditional zombies.
Yeah. I like the large hordes of slower zombies.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I absolutely loved when 28 Days Later came out, though, because it did flip everything, and it's like, these things can run now? God damn.
Yeah.
And what was World War Z was sort of the same way. It wasn't great, but that part of it was
when they're
terrifying.
going up the wall?
Yeah, that kind of stuff from it is like terrifying. Because zombies, traditionally, just being so many of them, and like anyone who gets bit or anything, or sometimes even injured, like scratched,
you just always have to be on your guard.
Yeah, that's a lot already. But then when you add something like this, a super zombie or a super strain of zombie virus or whatever, that does add another whole level to things.
So you like the basic, but as an exception rather than the rule.
Yeah.
A faster zombie is a good exception rather than...
Yeah. I prefer
like Romero's zombies.
Yeah, I prefer. I prefer Night of the Living Dead. To me, is absolutely the best zombie film.
Yeah.
But so much of that is psychological, and I think that's what a lot of like Walking Dead and stuff like that has done. Is it's not so much about the zombies as it is about human interaction and like how that happened, how that works out. In such an apocalypse like that, that's what I appreciate about a zombie film, and you got a lot of that in Night of the Living Dead. It was still terrifying with the zombies, but a bunch of it was like, how are these people going to, everything in society has broken down. How are these people going to act?
Always like that about a zombie movie as well, the psychological side of it, rather than the beat as many zombies up as I can.
Yeah, and I mean with World War Z or 28 days later or weeks later, it was more of a like about the zombies instead of the people. So I like it when it's more about the people.
Mike,
I like a combination. It just depends. I think that the zombies are a great backdrop for some really great character driven stories.
Yeah,
but at the same time, zombie killing action is awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to see a lot of that as well. At the end of the day, I think no matter what movie, the richness of the characters is the most important thing. So if I had to choose, I would say character driven.
Right on. So what's everyone's favorite zombie film? Is that a hard one?
I really enjoy the Dawn of the Dead remake.
That was a really good one.
Which one was that?
That came out maybe 10, 15 years ago. They were in the mall. It had Ving Rhames.
That's James Gunn, too, isn't
Sarah Paulson. I think
James Gunn did that, didn't he?
I don't know.
I'll look it up for you.
Is that the one with
quote
Dennis
me on it.
Hopper?
Dennis Hopper was not in this one. I don't remember Dennis Hopper in a zombie movie.
That was the one with the bus, right?
Are you talking about an actual Romero movie? Because this was a remake. The Romero didn't do this one.
There's one where they literally, the zombies go under the fucking river and into the city.
That's Land of the Dead.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, yeah, and that wasn't that bad either. Yeah. None of the Diary of the Dead, all the Romeros, even the ones that came out way later, were not
even
bad at all.
The ones that aren't good are still good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite zombie movie would probably be Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember that being so out of control. That's Peter Jackson, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was so gory. The scene with the
fucking
lawnmower. Yeah, that was a good one.
I just remember being scared of the VHS cover art in Video Village. This is going to scare me. I shouldn't rent this.
It was Zack Snyder, not James Gunn. I knew it was one of them guys. So,
yeah, because it was over the top gore. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those more lighthearted zombie films because the kid's mom had turned into a zombie, but he was still trying to have her at a dinner party, and her ear was falling off and shit. So
Bust shot into the custard.
Oh gosh, that was a little much
for me. Is Night of the Living Dead? Yeah, classic.
That's just so classic,
especially the end. And
do you prefer the black and white or the recolored?
The black and white.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, because the colored one is just. It was a remake a couple of years later, wasn't it?
I think so.
Like less than 10 years.
It wasn't too far away.
Yeah. I always think that they were it was just a recolored version of it, but it's not. It's an actual different film.
I like the old black and white one. I love the end of it. It's great.
Man, it is a good one.
It all tied together really well. So.
And also, Jon Favreau has been seen on set on Spider-Man Far From Home. So we're going to have Jon Favreau. Apparently he was seen speaking with Maria Hill and...
was he seen in character?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if it was as like a director or like in a movie like in a production type role.
That's two people we haven't seen on screen together ever.
Maria and Happy.
Yeah.
And also Nick Fury. So he's going to be interacting with them. It's always good to see Happy in a film. I like me and Allison were talking about this on today driving around. It's interesting that he was a director and just kind of threw himself in this little bit part in the first Iron Man, not knowing what these films were going to become. But now he's having to be in all. I'm sure he's not complaining, but having to be in all of these other things. And he was a fun part of Homecoming.
Yeah.
So
I'm curious that it's him and not Tony.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That is interesting. But he's also like, I don't know. In Homecoming, he was Spider-Man's handler, and it seems like Spider-Man has moved well beyond that after Infinity War, and we all know like that's gonna, something's gonna change with that. He's not gonna stay dead. But that is interesting to bring up.
Yeah, that it's Happy that's interacting with those two instead of Tony doing it.
But again, this is also one scene, and who knows what else is going on.
Yeah, it's more that speculation.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we'll be a fan again.
That's what we do.
Stop getting burnt out by being on a podcast.
He hates it so much. All right, so that's our news for this week.
That was a solid run.
It was. That's some good news. That was good job, guys.
I would give it 9 extras out of 10.
Good.
Thank you.
So, what do you guys think about mailbag?
Do we have a mailbag?
We do have a mailbag.
We do?
Yes.
I say go for it.
Let's
Let's
go
open
for
that mailbag up and roll around it and see what we can find.
Listening.
All right, guys. We've got a couple of questions here. The first one comes from Christopher Silver off of Facebook. When will Darkhawk join the MCU?
When he's good.
It'll never happen.
You don't think it'll ever happen?
No.
I think
He's so far down, it won't happen.
I honestly,
he's not prominent. He's not mentioned really that much anymore, is he?
Yeah. He's been he's a big part of Infinity Countdown right now. He was a big part of War of Kings.
That's right, I did
a couple of
War
years
Kings.
ago. So
if they do like a Kree Skrull war or something like that, if that's their next big storyline, I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up. Maybe not make a big splash.
Were the Raptors and the Brotherhood of the is it the Brotherhood or the Paternity of the Raptors, whatever it is? Was that a part of the Shi'ar Empire though?
I think so.
Or was it
Kree?
I can't recall now. I think it was. I think they're part of the Shi'ar. So once the
see, I would love mixing up the Kree Skrull War from what it was to maybe blending it a little bit with War of Kings, because they've done a lot of these changes in MCU anyway. They've taken established
War of Kings
stories.
Has a bunch to do with the Inhumans though.
Yeah.
And we also have heard that we might have an Externals coming down the line. Was it Eternals?
Not Externals.
Oh,
God,
gosh.
no.
Funny enough, there was a good storyline in Cable about the Externals. How, I don't know. Gideon showed back up. But, if they want to plug it in with the Shi'ar stuff, I think we have a little while before, because they have to introduce the mutants first.
Yep.
And then get into the Shi'ar stuff, because I don't think you want to just go ahead and dive into the space X-Men stuff. You want to do a little bit of the Earth X-Men stuff before you do that. So it's hard to say, but he also could just fit in, like they can just flip flop that stuff in the MCU. That could be a part of the Skrulls. That could be a part of the Kree.
Exactly.
We already have the Chitauri and stuff. It wouldn't be a part of the Chitauri, but
well, they've already messed with other things, like Star-Lord's dad.
Yeah.
Being Ego in the MCU is completely different than the comics.
I think our best chance of getting Darkhawk in a film, though, got fired a couple of weeks ago, or months ago, or whatever. James Gunn is the person that would have, I think, could have and would have brought in Darkhawk.
If Waititi can figure a way to do it, though, I think he's another guy that would be a...
Maybe he's only done one film now, so it's really hard to judge.
It is,
but he wasn't as into like Easter eggs and throwing extra characters in it. Like we got Howard the Duck twice in the Guardians films, which is out of control.
Korg.
We did get Korg, and also like we got Ares and Man-Thing were on the, and Beta Ray were on the whatever the temple or whatever
we got what's his name's, the Executioners stand on the bridge. So no, we got a few little Easter eggs in there.
Possibly, so that could be possible. Be possible. I don't think it's as never coming as Chuck thinks. I do think it would be more of a minor character, like maybe as big as Korg, something like that.
I don't think it'd be that big.
Really? I
just don't.
He has such a great design. It's a very nice
I know,
design.
Nobody's chomping at the bit for something like that.
Oh, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
Somebody out there is going, "Oh, who would be an awesome character for me to make a movie for Marvel?"
Darkhawk. He'll never get his own film ever. No, that's never happening. But having him thrown into some of this intergalactic space stuff would be cool. Yeah. Would be cool. I would totally be in for it. A lot of people thought with the Marvel Legends, he was in the Guardians wave, but there's always characters that aren't in the films.
Oh yeah,
and so a lot of people thought he was going to show up in that, but he absolutely did not. But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. And
here, folks,
Darkhawk's coming.
Darkhawk could be in the movies, but
someday.
He will never, ever have his own movie.
Never.
Someday we'll get some Darkhawk.
Maybe.
Yes.
I'm sure it's not hard to find.
We'll have to ask Chuck about that. Jimmy Nails on Twitter says, which movie do you think would benefit from a gender flip reboot? I would love a female version of The Warriors, the original being one of my favorite films ever. So when we got this question, we were chit-chatting a little bit about this earlier. There's not a whole lot of these kind of gender flip-flops that I can think of. We definitely had the Ghostbusters one, and that didn't go well.
I would like to see a good one, though.
Yes, yeah. Well, and the Ghostbusters one wasn't bad because of the gender flip. It was just bad.
It was bad writing.
Yeah. And I think all of it just wasn't handled well. We did recently have Ocean's 8, which I don't think any of y'all saw. I went and saw it because Allison wanted to see it. She hadn't seen the Ocean's 12 or 11 or 13 or 15 or any of those. But we went and saw Ocean's 8, and I thought it was doable. It was just as fun as I remember Ocean's 11 originally being the reboot of that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like there's other things like the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I feel like was kind of
did
the
that
show
with the Terminator.
Yeah, because what's her
Summer
name?
Glau.
Yeah, she was the Terminator in that. So
it was in Terminator 3 as well. They had a female Terminator.
Kristana Loken played the TX.
That's true. And I guess sort of halfway, kind of, maybe Star Wars right now is sort of that, because the main protagonist in it is a female, or one of the main protagonists. So that could maybe sort of go that way. But
there's an argument you could make for that.
Yeah. So what are there any films that you can think of that you'd like to see a gender flip reboot?
The question specifically said could be improved.
Or benefit from.
Or benefit from, yeah.
One that, when I was thinking about it just kind of popped in my head. You know what? This could fit pretty well. I think RoboCop might be interesting.
A female RoboCop?
Yeah, I think that might be
really
interesting. Cool. Another one would be Die Hard.
I was
female Die Hard.
thinking about that one.
Yeah.
Have we had any kind I know that kind of film has almost sort of died off, but are there any badass police women against a whole team of Germans films? Nothing.
But you're never going to get a Hans Gruber out of it.
No. Yeah. I would almost wonder, I guess we sort of have this, but sort of don't, an Indiana Jones with a female instead of a male reboot might be interesting. I know that's sort of what Tomb Raider is, but it's really not.
Yeah.
I think in the same vein of it being kind of like, because Indy has its own feel, and then with it being a period piece and based off of like pulp, comics and stuff, it has a different feel than Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is kind of more, action based more than story based.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I like the pulpiness of it, and seeing a female in that kind of cocky kind of role, I think would be a lot of fun.
I bet Rocketeer would be awesome too with the female.
Oh gosh,
yeah,
like Kate Blanchett maybe.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty awesome.
I'd probably go younger.
You think so?
I would too.
Yeah,
but I would not be. I'd still go see it if it was
more like, because he was kind of late teens, early 20s, and Kate
Clyde
Blanchett's
or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think his character was written to be that anyway.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
because he was kind of working as not quite a pilot. He's kind of working for the main pilot and everything there. He wasn't like the guy that was supposed to be in the suit in the first place. So I think taking that same riff, she gets the suit. Yeah, Rocketeer would be fun.
Rocketeer is just fun in general.
I think I've narrowed it down to about 3 movies that I feel would
give them to us. Hit us with it.
Heat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I think Heat with an all-female bank heist cast.
Yeah.
Done as well as Heat. What I really want to see is to them to really. This, I guess, my own male perspective. I don't really want to see like a Spice Girls girl power type movie. What I want to see are women in literal male roles, like characterized. I want to see them to more than just like I'm sassy and I'm in your face.
Yeah,
like I want real characters.
Strong characters, and with traditional, even say male qualities like aggressiveness or violence. Make them human. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because women a lot of times I feel are marginalized to a plot device, like she needs to be saved or she needs to do this or whatnot.
She needs to find a husband.
Exactly.
Needs to make a sandwich.
Other 2 movies are Swingers. I feel would be great from a feminine perspective. The Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn movie from the 90s where they try to like get women and everything. I would like to see it from
I've seen that though. There's been several of those type movies.
I feel like though there hasn't been one on the same level as Swingers. They've all been kind of like superficial, like rom-com romps type thing. If I'm wrong, listeners, hit me. I want to see that movie. And then lastly, what was it? Clerks.
I was actually thinking Clerks. Yeah,
Clerks would be good from that.
Yeah.
Just 2 women bitching, which sounds like something you could find anywhere.
Sounds like Broad City.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but Clerks is the same way. Nerds bitching.
Yeah.
I can walk into any fucking comic book store and hear that. Well, I don't want to see a movie about it, but it works.
I would love to see more of a comic book based Clerks, like Clerks with women working in a comic shop and bitching. I would love that.
Even Broad City's too zany. The characters are too zany.
They are.
The characters in Clerks are grounded. Zany things happen to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're real life people.
Grounded. Yeah. And that's what I want to see. It just seems like most characters these days, it's like they have to have a shtick.
Yes.
Just be a person.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, just seeing the gender side of all those perspectives, especially Clerks and Swingers, I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 cents.
I'm really liking the Clerks dig, Mike.
Yeah.
What is
Not
that?
Clerks 2.
No, the first one.
First one.
I don't think Clerks could be made with women. It would just end up being like a titty comedy or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So I dig the Clerks vibe you had. For me, I would go with a remake of John Carpenter's. I would go 2 of his movies. First would be Halloween.
I was thinking like a horror film. What would be a good horror film?
Replacing Michael Myers with the female lead and replacing Laurie Strode with a male character. I think that would be interesting because you don't see many horror movies where a female is the protagonist. Or antagonist, I should say. Yeah, because you had it in the original Friday the 13th. Exorcist.
High Tension.
Yeah, that one still freaks me out, that ending. But, for the majority, it's a male-dominated field on that, so it would be interesting to see a female antagonist.
Chuck wants to see some female serial killers.
I've seen
High Tension. He wants to know there are people out there for him.
Whew.
Yeah.
But the other one I would go with would be The Thing.
That would be awesome to see a female cast and all that.
Because you saw how everything started to degenerate with the male cast. How would if you replace that with the female aspect? How would they be able to anticipate or react to that?
Utterly fucking violent.
Yeah,
or worse.
Let's burn these people to death.
Yeah, it might be over a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So flipping that over, are there any female-led films that you'd like to see males in? I know that's a weird.
Diaries.
The Prince Diaries. Yeah. Yeah. the Prince Bride.
Yeah.
Secretary. Just flip James Spader's role.
Manager.
With Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Call it manager.
Oh,
Exactly. Call it administrative assistance. Here you go, Mrs. Jan. Put it there, Hunter.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. It seems most female-led movies are kind of either derivatives of regular movies because they're regular movies, or they're specific in the sense that it's specifically feminine, I guess. If that makes any sense. I don't know if there'd be a reason to make it, because that would kind of alter the point of the entire movie.
Yeah.
Sister Act.
That would be
I've seen that
interesting.
before with guys.
I don't know if the Priest Act would be a great movie right now, given what's going on.
Well, just guys infiltrating
Hijinks
places
in the
where they
Catholic
shouldn't be.
Two British guys. English guys, weren't they?
Well,
right.
yeah,
What are you
there's the
talking
Nuns
about?
on the Run, but there's
That's what it
also,
was.
Some Like It Hot.
Yeah.
Back in the day was basically the same premise. There's
Just without nuns.
it's just a different.
Take on the same premise.
Yeah.
How would y'all feel about a female Crocodile Dundee?
Man, I'm still mad when you get that Crocodile Dundee reboot with what's his name?
Not happening.
Kenny Powers, yeah. I mean, I think that could be great. I would totally be behind that. A badass Crocodile Dundee lady coming from Australia, yeah.
We just need to toughen up Steve Irwin's daughter. Get her and get
still never
Bindi in
happened.
a couple fights.
But she's got to get her vengeance first.
Yeah.
On the Stingray.
Yeah.
I've
It's
been
a whole
hunting you
movie
for
of her
20 years.
murdering every stingray she can find.
Or it just turns out it's actually a guy her dad owed money to named Sting Ray. And he's
Stingray.
He's an Australian water boss, like mafia beach boss.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I think those are pretty good. Sounds like some fun movies. Maybe we'll get to see them.
Keep the
someday.
parents.
Yeah,
but
we're
replace,
gonna hear how bad our choices were.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, that's good.
I really hope we do, though.
Yeah, if y'all
I
have
like
some ideas on
criticism.
this, like send them our way. I'd love to hear, because like Jimmy said, a female version of the Warriors would be badass. That would be really cool to see. Have y'all seen
Yeah.
Warriors? Okay,
Especially because there'd be a guy going, "You don't look so tough," like that girl that just fucking pals up with him and starts beating the shit out of everybody with him.
And to be fair, we only had 5 minutes to think about this question.
I told him about this right before we started recording, so we could think about it. So, and this is actually when Jimmy put this up last week after we had already recorded. So I'm
gotcha.
adding it in this week. So, but
Sorry.
we appreciate all the questions always. Send them our way. We put a thing out on Sunday before we record, but if you have a question, just post it on our page, email it to us or whatnot.
We will get it.
We will. We compile them during the week, and then
We have a
talk about
social
'em.
media department working around the clock.
Yes, we do.
You will get answered directly by
Immediately.
us immediately,
All right, guys. Well,
unless we're at work.
yeah, I'm
We're
feeling.
doing
I'm
something
feeling,
else more entertaining.
yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this podcast, guys. You ready to wrap her up?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Let's put a bow on it.
Tarp and duct tape.
Let's getting our leotards and thunder scat.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Go look us up on the Instagram, the Facebook, and the Twitter.
Yeah.
But also the YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. We need more subscribers. And if you haven't rated or reviewed us on iTunes before, help us out. Do that. So, thanks, guys.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We're always here to make a better product. We love you guys. Later, bud.
Thunder Scat. Nerds Who Get Late Sometimes is recorded at the illustrious Big Brown Record Town Studios in beautiful downtown Lake City. Episodes are published each Monday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and Google Play. You can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Nerds Who Get Laid. We're at Nerds Who Get Laid on Twitter and Instagram. We're part of the Geeks Worldwide Podcast Network. You can find reviews and articles we write at thegww.com. We're also part of the Modest Pod Podcast Network. We're on FloridaGeekScene.com and also WeBeGeek GeeksPC.com. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. You can also check out the show notes for links about things we talked about in this episode. Thanks so much.
This has been a production of the GWW Radio Network. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Also, check out Geeks Worldwide at thegww.com for all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on video games, comics, movies, TV, cosplay, and more. Geeks Assemble!